My name is Ben, and this is my pathway to literacy in math. Before I go on to tell my story, it's important that we establish what it means to be literate in math. Unlike general literacy, which most people perceive as the ability to read and write, literacy in math is a little less clearly defined. Let's see what happens when we define mathematical literacy as ability to read, understand, and write mathematical expressions. I'm sure those listening to this presentation can read and understand the mathematical equation at the top of the slide, 7 minus 4 equals 3. I also assume that most of you guys listening to the presentation can transform in layman's terms, 2 plus 5 equals 7 into formal mathematical form. Now let's consider this proof. This one looks indecipherable to most people. If I asked you guys to read it, you probably wouldn't be able to even spit out the first word. Now let's try to translate common speech into formal mathematical expressions. If I asked you guys to translate the sum of any two integers or whole numbers is an integer, would you be able to translate it into the following expression? For most of you, the answer is probably not. The OECD, an international economic organization whose measures of academic proficiency have considerable influence, defines numerical literacy as the knowledge and skills required to apply arithmetic operations either alone or sequentially to numbers embedded in printed materials, such as balancing a checkbook, figuring out a tip, completing an order form, or determining the amount of interest on a loan from an advertisement. The OECD defines mathematical literacy as an individual's capacity to identify and understand the role that mathematics plays in the world, to make well-founded judgments, and to use and engage with mathematics in ways that meet the needs of that individual's life as a constructive, concerned, and reflective citizen. If you notice, neither of these definitions clarify the extent to which one has to interpret mathematical expressions and apply them in the real world to be considered literate in math. Thus, the pathway to math literacy is more continuous than discrete, in the sense that I can't pinpoint an exact time or even a short interval of time in which I became literate in math. However, I can describe periods of time in which my level of math literacy has advanced. Ever since I was little, my mother pushed me to study hard and get good grades in school. On the drive to preschool, she would make me count from 0 to 100. In elementary school, I learned how to do basic arithmetic operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and learned other processes of computation such as long division. In middle school, I learned about basic algebra, including expressions, how to solve one or two-step equations, how to interpret and create graphs and tables, and most importantly, how to make connections between the equations, the graphs, and the tables to solve story problems, or problems that might occur in the real world. In high school, I took classes on geometry, algebra 2, pre-calculus, and calculus BC. By the end of high school, I was able to use my knowledge to solve problems in various situations involving physics, engineering, and economics. I was able to calculate the rate of decay of a radioactive substance, to model the motion of a projectile, and to solve problems involving the maximization of profit.
Created using Powtoon.